Advanced server just dropped a big one that could shake up the meta. We've got major updates for Silvanna, Hilda, Xavier, and a ton of other heroes. So let's go through them one by one. First up is the experimental adjustments on Silvanna. Her skill 2 can now only be interrupted by high-level Cici like Airborne, Petrify, Freeze, Suppress, or Transform. That means a normal stun can't stop her second skill, just like this. You'll need a stronger crowd control if you want to cancel it. To balance, the damage is slightly reduced, but she now deals more damage to minions. This makes her combo even more dangerous, but you still need to watch out for the enemies with advanced control skills. The devs mentioned they heard the community's request for full control immunity, but they felt that would be too overpowered. So this is the middle ground, harder to stop, but not unstoppable. Hilda just got a huge adjustment. Her enhanced basic attack is no longer tied to skill 1. It's now part of her passive. Whenever she enters a bush, her next basic attack is enhanced, dealing extra damage and applying a slow. This effect has a 6-second cooldown. To balance things out, her defense reduction per stack was lowered from 4% down to 3%. Her skill 1 has also been redesigned. Instead of giving an empowered attack, it now boosts her movement speed by 60% and grants a shield equal to 15% of her max HP for 3 seconds. So no more enhanced basic attack from skill 1. It's now all about mobility and durability. Skill 2 also got smoother. The force swing of the third strike is faster, making her combos feel snappier. Overall, the devs said this should make Hilda much stronger in the EXP lane with better trading and survivability. Next up is the buff for Xavier. The devs said he relied too much on constantly hitting enemies just to reach Transcendence, and that wasn't the design they wanted. So they've removed the old stage 1 and stage 2 effects. Yes, no more stacking through stages. Now, whenever Xavier hits an enemy hero with a skill, he automatically gains movement speed for a short duration. And all his skills now have a wider hitboxes by default. Previously, this was something stage 2 can unlock, but with stages gone, the bigger width is always active. So no more stage 1 and 2 because they are now enabled by default, but you still need to hit the enemy 3 times to enter Transcendence stage. When he finally enters Transcendence after 3 hits, the only extra bonus is cooldown reduction for his skills and ultimate. Overall, this makes it much easier to reach Transcendence, and even outside of it, Xavier's abilities are stronger and easier to land. What can our Xavier players say about this one? If skill 2 deals more continuous damage, and her ultimate swipes hit harder. The big bonus, her ultimate now reveals enemies in range. That's huge for vision control, especially against those stealth heroes like Natalia or Leslie. Overall, Eve becomes an even scarier zoning mage who can control both space and information. Moving on to Lylia. Her skill 2 spell vamp just doubled, from 50 to 100%. This means every gloom explosion heals her for twice as much, giving her way more sustain during trades and team fights. It won't suddenly make her a burst mage, but it does let her stay in lane longer and punish opponents who underestimate her sustain. And then we have Bane. His skill 2 damage is now higher across all levels, making his poke a lot deadlier. On top of that, his ultimate's force swing time is 20% faster, so it lands quicker and is harder to interrupt. These changes push Bane further into his hybrid role, high poke in lane and faster, more reliable team fight impact. Next up is Minotaur. His sustain was a little too high after recent buffs, so his passive healing got toned down. His regen is now weaker in the early to mid game, and his skill 2 no longer boosts healing while enraged. His enraged state heals multiple teammates, but it no longer provides extra healing. After last week's patch, some players are calling this a nerf, but the devs don't see it that way. They even tune him down to balance his skills. Is this really a nerf in disguise? Now on to Chip. He's a bit tankier now thanks to higher physical defense growth, and his skill 1 can finally mark minions and creeps, not just heroes. This makes him more useful for wave clear and jungle rotations. A nice quality of life buff for team play. Next up is Freya. Her skill 2 has been adjusted so it now stops when hitting an enemy hero or creep. As you can see, the dash is stopped when hitting an enemy. And her ultimate casts much faster, with the force swing cut in half. This means Freya can unleash her damage without being delayed. Obsidia also got a small buff. Her skill 1 base damage at early levels is higher, giving her stronger trades in the laning phase. It's a minor adjustment, but it should make her early presence a lot better. Next is Cici. Her splash damage visuals didn't quite match the actual hitbox before, so that's been fixed. Now, her basic attack splash properly lines up with what you see on screen. It doesn't change her power much, but it does make her feel more consistent to play. Moving on to Alice. Her passive was too easy to trigger in the early game, so it's been adjusted. Instead of activating after one skill hit, you now need 2 skill hits to trigger her passive's continuous heal and damage. This slows down her early sustain and makes her less oppressive in lane and jungle clears. After her adjustments, Angela also got hit with some nerfs. Her skill 1 healing is lower and her ultimate shield scaling was reduced. On top of that, the shield duration is cut from 6 seconds to just 3. This means you'll need to be more precise when timing her ultimate. No more long safety nets for allies. And finally, Atlas. His passive freeze takes longer to trigger, from 2 seconds up to 3, giving enemies more time to react. His ultimate's chain range before channeling has also been shortened, reducing how far he can grab opponents. This nerfs makes his engage a bit riskier and force Atlas players to be more precise with their initiation timing. Now let's talk about the battlefield changes. Passive gold income is back to 6 gold every 2 seconds, just like in the official server. But when it hits the 8-minute mark, the gold increases to 8 every 2 seconds. So what does this mean? The dev said the gold lead has grown increasingly significant in ranked games, so this adjustment gives losing teams more income in the mid-game, and a better chance to make a comeback. And here's a nice change for supports and tanks. Medal points will now also count healing and crowd control when calculating your performance. So if you're the kind of player who peels, heals, and set up fights but doesn't rack up kills, the system will finally recognize your impact. And that's everything from this advanced server patch. Who do you think benefits the most from these changes? Let me know in the comments.